Next, we have an exciting case study on one of the world's largest platform companies, Meta. Joining us virtually is Mr. Senura Abeywardena, Head of Public Policy for Central Asia, Mongolia, and Sri Lanka at Meta. Mr. Abeywardena will discuss how Meta has reshaped the e-commerce landscape, its platform to seemingly connect buyers and sellers across the globe. Please give me a warm round of applause and welcome Mr. Senura Abeywardena as he joins us virtually.
Good morning. When I thought about this topic and as I reflected, I thought if you trace every major breakthrough in history, you'll find that behind every success, every innovation, and every movement, there was a connection between people, ideas, and opportunities. When we build bridges instead of walls, we unlock innovation, strengthen economies, and create opportunities that transcend borders. When you look at trade, it is not just about goods or services, it's about people, relationships, and shared prosperity. The world's greatest economic stories and successes were written not those by who built barriers, but by those who connected markets and worked together to create a better future. Hi there. I'm very excited to talk to you today about Meta and the emerging technologies that is building to bring the world closer together. My name is Senura Abeywardena, and I lead the public policy function for Meta in Central Asia, Mongolia, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. I'm here today to talk about the wide range of products that we built over the years and what we are building for the future. So we at Meta, we are on a mission to build the future of human connection and the technology that makes it possible. We've seen how our technologies, that's Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and Threads, can unlock potential for good across the world. How a post or a message can get someone life saving help, how a hashtag can become a global call to action, and how people show up for each other in times of need. These acts of kindness actually inspire us to continue creating tools that help people connect, find and support causes they care about, and start and grow their businesses. In addition to this, there are two emerging technologies, that is artificial intelligence and the metaverse, represent our biggest long-term bets in the future. In 2023, these technologies began to come together in products used by a huge number of people. Generative AI is making its way into the hearts of these technologies and programs that bring people into the metaverse. Mixed reality is also at the core of Meta Quest headsets, and the Meta AI lets people ask questions about what they are looking at through their Ray-Bans. These are the Meta smart glasses that we built. With almost half of the world's population actively using our apps, it's easy to connect with your audience and engage them like never before. As you know, the five apps that most of you all use, that's Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Threads, now cover almost half of the world. And at least if you cumulatively take the number of people who use our apps, that's the number that you see on the screen. Uh, this is a large marketplace, and this is made possible because people now live their lives across meta technologies. They come to discover something new and also to be entertained. They come to create and start and engage in new conversations that impact our cultural and daily lives. And in this new AI age, AI recommended content from accounts you don't already follow is now the fastest growing category of content on Facebook's feed, driving a 7% increase in overall time spent on Facebook and 6% increase on Instagram, plus a 25% year on year growth in watch time across all video types. And this was reported in Q4 2023. People use WhatsApp each day to connect with friends and family, even businesses, with 2 billion calls made globally every day. Right now, about 30% of our posts on Facebook feed are delivered by our AI recommendation system. That's up 2x over the last couple of years. And for the first time ever, more than 50% of the content people see on Instagram is now recommended by AI. This gives you a flavor of like how much time people spend on which product. For example, 50% of the time that is spent on Instagram is now on Reels. Reels is the short form video, and short form video from a content perspective is the future, and it's becoming the front and center of how people consume content. To illustrate all of what I said, I'm just sharing a case study of a small business owner in the Philippines who used the meta services, Facebook and Instagram, very effectively to build her business, to reach markets beyond her borders, beyond the borders of Philippines, that is, and how she successfully built her business, got the community going to support her business, and reach customers across the world. We There are millions of stories like this, and this is just illustrative of the power of our technologies. And we did this study before the pandemic of how we trained small and medium businesses to use our platforms. And we did a follow-up study in about 2022 on how well they were faring in the post-pandemic age. And this is a great story that just gives you a flavor of where how people have leveraged these platforms for a better future. Can we play that video now?
There was never a time that we did not have orders, thankfully. Even if people don't travel, they still need the bags. I started in 2011. It was just really my passion. I love bags. The people who were following my online page were my parents, my friends. The orders that I get are, of course, just from my personal circle. I came across this group called Connected Women. There were a series of workshops that I attended. As I was setting up the business, I was learning more things. Create a business page right, what to say, what type of images you should be posting. That's when I got my first client that was not related to me. I was just posting, and this was prior to the workshop. I didn't know that I had to set the geographies. I was getting inquiries from the US, and at that time, I didn't know what to do. And yeah, that mistake became a good learning experience because it taught me how to handle international requirements. Of course, no one was ready. But the good thing about it is that even prior to the pandemic, our setup was remote already. So the operations itself was not affected. After that workshop, I realized that I'm not gonna be alone in this. I can find whatever I need through these kinds of workshops, whatever I need to learn in order to do this business. So that gave me the courage to, okay, this is not a hobby anymore. This is something I can do. A month after that, I left my corporate job. Now I'm doing bags for people around the world, when before I was just making bags for my mom.
I hope that gave you an understanding of like how there are millions of stories like this on how our platforms are being used effectively for good for small and medium businesses, especially to reach markets beyond their imagination and sell their products. Now I move on to talking more about the emerging technologies that we are building for the future. In the space of AI and immersive technologies, Mark Zuckerberg shared in our ambition to about a decade ago, where he published a 10-year vision across those areas in 2014, making these were like long-term bets on emerging technologies, and making these bets are not easy. It's not guaranteed that they will work, and it's certainly not cheap. But it is also one of those most valuable things a technology company can do. And the only way to remain relevant over a long run is by continuously pivoting and making those long term bets and making those happen. Our long term vision is actually to build general intelligence. And we've taken the open source approach so that we can build responsibly and also to make it widely available so everyone can benefit. Meta, for the long in its history, has been sharing our vision very openly, and we have built our AI technologies with that in mind, and so that we enable everyone to have access to those technologies. We have built large language models to not only create value in our technologies and programs, but also to allow other organizations to benefit from them. Today, Meta's Llama has over 170 million downloads. We also have released technologies like PyTorch, the leading machine learning framework, our no language left behind model, which can translate almost up to 200 languages, and our seamless suite of AI speech to speech translation models, which can translate voices into 36 languages approximately with just 2 seconds of latency. Now, all if you look at these three products that which I just mentioned, all of them are built to unlock those barriers, be it language, be it any type of machine learning ability, uh, and to enable people to communicate seamlessly across the globe. Having access to the state of the art AI will be an increasingly important way for creating opportunities for individuals, companies, and economies. We believe that open source software is the safest and most secure and efficient way that we can build these technologies. These two technologies, AI and the metaverse, will represent our biggest long term bets on the future. It takes decades of investments and long term commitment to bring this innovation, research, and experimentation to push the boundaries of what's possible and deliver the best service of people for the people. Some key ingredients in our innovation playbook is embracing innovation as a core DNA component. By committing to build one of the world's most robust and cutting edge R&D operations, including large infrastructure investments. You would have read about these large infrastructure investments that we've been making over the years, and you will hear more about that. Fostering innovation across the ecosystem through an open source approach by engaging with external developer communities and shaping industry practices to speed up development. That is like the second component of our innovation playbook. And our investment in innovation and AI supercharge those connections to drive growth for your businesses today and tomorrow. These are people using our technologies than ever before, and we continue to be the best place to help you drive growth. Our technologies span a wide spectrum of connections for people and businesses. The private connections made via WhatsApp to broaden the participatory experience like Reels, Facebook, and Instagram is something to note. You would have noted newsfeed is one of the main features in both Facebook and Instagram. And in 2006, we maintained a foundation built on world-class AI at the time and a steadfast commitment to accelerating business growth nearly 20 years in the making. Today, Meta remains your strategic partner to ignite performance that achieves businesses' goals and strengthen brand outcomes through an unparalleled discovery engine and, and an unrivaled and which has an unrivaled reach. So, another very important thing about having these types of technologies is that the discovery element. Like many clients, many businesses reach their clients by being able to discover whatever they are interested in. And this is one of the key features of having that open, free internet that feeds into building products like this over the years. We made considerable investments from a capex point of view in the last so many years, and we continue to make those investments to enhance the capacity of our products to be able to deliver these products across the world to all the communities as safely as possible. And we've continued to invest, and there are some products like in Sri Lanka's context, like Meta AI is not still launched in Sri Lanka, but it will be reaching Sri Lanka soon. And these launches can take some time to reach. We're given the safety standards and the regulatory standards. We have to ensure that Meta's products keep in compliance with the local law requirements. So Meta has a 20-year history of building new technologies, and we have a clear and long-term playbook for pioneering in the future of connection. We know we are a leader in the open source AI, providing the backbone of innovation, cutting-edge research tools for creativity, and of course, connection. Open innovation, we know, lead to better and safer products, and more responsible development is required to create new economic opportunities. Just like our big bets in the past, we are making more and more investments with a long-term vision to building out the metaverse. And most of you must be familiar with the Quest goggles that we've developed and the Ray-Bans, which are the smart glasses of Meta, which are being adopted very, very fast across the world. We are building with the right partners, and we continue to build today's connections and today's technologies as bridges for tomorrow's opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this very interesting presentation, Mr. Abeywardena. Now we will move on to a Q&A session. I would like to invite my colleague, Mr. Anushka, to come on stage.
Thank you, Subi. Thank you, Mr. Senura. I'm sure there's a lot of questions that are there for the Meta platform, because I'm sure at least 3 Meta apps, we have at least 3 Meta apps on our phone. So I'll open the questions to the floor first, and while the audience answer their questions, the rest can scan the QR code and enter your questions on the Slido. So if you all have any questions for Mr. Senura, please raise your hand, and the gentleman in the middle. Let's try to keep the questions short, direct, yeah, and relevant. So,
Nice presentation, and I have one concern that's been going around for some time. So, what are the actions that have been taken against inadequate handling of harmful content, including hate speech and terrorism, on Meta platform?
Mrs. Senra,
What's the question on harmful
Yeah.
content and terrorism?
Yeah, what are the actions that have been taken against inadequate handling of harmful content, including hate speech and terrorism, on Meta platform?
Thank you very much for the question. It's a great question. I'm happy to answer that. Firstly, we have policies against harmful content, and more specifically on terrorism. So we have a policy on dangerous organizations and individuals. If you go to the community standards, you will see that policy, how we defined it, and which identifies what is a terrorist organization, what is a hate organization, and there are designations that have been done across the world, and uh, and we enforce against that type of content.
thank you, Mr. Senra. Yes, Mr. Mustasa has a question. The first row, please.
This conference is called Ignite Growth. Yesterday we had a presentation from Dr. Abeywardena from the Department of Census and Statistics, where he showed the economic census in Sri Lanka, and it is characterized by a large number of very small micro enterprises, less than 4 people, 91% less than 4 people. Can you explain to us how your platforms can be used by these people to sell more or improve their productivity, perhaps starting with how WhatsApp for Business can be used?
Thank you, Murtaza, for that question. I think I gave a flavor through that video of how where like a business has leveraged the platforms Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp to reach different customers. Um, if you look at the stats I provided, nearly 3.2 billion people use it every day. And if you look at the micro, small, and medium enterprises uh, that use these very effectively, um, one aspect of this is like building capacity amongst the micro, small, and medium enterprises on using these platforms. For the last 4 years, we've been running programs in Sri Lanka in partnership with the ICTA on providing that capacity to micro, small, and medium businesses, and and sometimes with a specific focus on women and women entrepreneurs. And over the years, we've managed to train a large number of micro and small medium enterprises on how they could leverage the platforms and reach more customers to improve their business. When you talk about WhatsApp for Business, why it is important is there are the WhatsApp for Business feature is basically WhatsApp is a private communication channel, right? And if you look at the WhatsApp for Business feature, like we have seen, like for example, a bakery having, I wish I had a screenshot to show you, where they showcase their products on the WhatsApp Business account of theirs. And customers can easily see what type of, in the context of the bakery, what are the types of products, or like say if it's cupcakes, or if it's like, bread, types of breads, what they can display it on the WhatsApp for Business account. And whenever a customer reaches out, they are able to see the whole menu, and then through the same account, the customer is able to communicate with the business and place their order and all that. What is lacking in this feature is like there is no payment option and ordering option that is integrated yet. Uh, but nevertheless, it connects the customer and the business in a better way, and it's a better customer experience, which eventually translates into some kind of successful transaction.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Senura. We have another question from the gentleman at the back. Yes, I'll get you.
Can you give some specific examples of Sri Lankan businesses using meta platforms to enhance their growth? Do you want me to repeat? Can you
I cannot hear you very clearly.
Can you give examples of Sri Lankan companies that have used meta platforms to enhance their business growth?
I don't have an example to show you now, but like one example that I came across previously, like in the last few years, which most of you might have know about, is the story of Saraketa. Saraketa is an organic business that used our platforms very effectively to reach markets, I think, beyond Sri Lanka as well, to provide their organic produce. That is one example I can share. The other, there are millions of examples that may be out there, and we see the use and the increase of the usage, which increases very, very rapidly year on year. And I think it's like a 30%, I can say about a 30% growth, roughly, if you calculate year on year, about how small and medium enterprises in Sri Lanka use it successfully.
Thank you, Mr. Senura. We'll get to the question on the left of the room. There's a gentleman there. Yes, we have a limited amount of time, so we'll try to keep the questions direct and so we can answer a lot.
Hi, Senura. I work in the agency world, so I'm very familiar with running ads on meta platforms. We find it very difficult to convince even large business owners or people who work in corporates to invest in ads, given that we use tools like Facebook Pixel to monitor exactly how those ads work. We know we can calculate ROI, very accurately compared to traditional sources, but we still find it tough. Could you explain why to business owners they should invest a little bit in Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and why that adoption has been a bit slow even amongst the larger corporates in a country like Sri Lanka? Is it the same across the region? Thanks.
Thank you. So my experience and my understanding is that that is not the case, and we see most of the larger companies advertising on our services. The other thing is that from Meta's point of view, there are several factors which gets you more reach or more. It's not just ad spend. Like what we say is content is king. If your content is good, whether you put, of course, advertising can get you a better reach, but having good content can get you an even better reach. So that's the principle that we work with. But I'm quite sure that most of the big companies, the bigger brands, are using our platforms quite effectively, and the data does point to that.
Thank you, Mr. Senura. We had a question from this gentleman in the front. Could you hand the mic over? We have a little bit of time.
Partial response to the earlier question about Sri Lankan use of this. I'm Rohan Samarjiva. I used to be the chairman of ICTA. And in one event, we had a craftsman from the village of Olabodua, who found that he was getting international orders. He was getting local orders, but he was also getting international orders. These are carvings, right? Now the question is, Facebook or Meta can go only so far. He had the problem of how to get this delivered. So I sat next to him, I mean, after I made this presentation, and I was chatting with the guy, and I said, what are you going to do? I mean, he was like 60 years old, a little younger than me, right? And he said, well, I just went to somebody who was already getting these antiques and curios out of the country. I paid them I told them to keep a commission, and the transaction was completed. But if we can have a simplification of exports for small lots, cusdex and so on being simplified, I think that would be the next step.
Thank you, sir, on your insights. We had a question from the gentleman at the back. Yeah?
Yeah, with increasing focus on AI and automation, how can small businesses in Sri Lanka use meta tools to stay competitive? You want me to repeat?
Yeah, I can't hear it very clearly with the echo.
Okay. With increasing focus on AI and automation, how can small businesses in Sri Lanka use meta tools to stay competitive?
Yeah. So what my experience with using AI, be it businesses, be it individuals, professionals, at this point of time, it really helps augment your performance. So what it means is that, well, like say if I'm like making like a presentation or something like that, you can always leverage AI to develop the first talking points or the key messages that you want to land, and use that as a base um, to develop your presentation or your whatever arguments that you want to make. That is from a professional's point of view. For businesses also, it can enhance your performance. Like say, once Meta AI is launched in Sri Lanka, on the WhatsApp search bar or the Facebook search bar or the Instagram search bar, you would see the Meta AI option. You will be able to go there and basically search for anything, ask any question, and receive a reasonable answer within a very, very short period of time. Similarly, like the products that I referred to, the no language left behind product on translations, that is one example which businesses can use. Like say if you're dealing with a customer who's overseas, who does not speak in your language, or you want to reach a customer say Europe, who speaks French, and your whatever material is in English, you can use these products to help you translate your product and the information about it and take it to that market. So this is how you can use Meta products. When you think, sometimes you think only Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger and Threads, but there are so many other products that we have put out into the market, which you can use for free and really amplify your business or your performance, be it anything that you do.
Thank you, Mr. Senura. Could we just answer an interesting question from the Slido? So it says, how can Sri Lanka leverage Meta's advancements in VR and AR and the metaverse for education and tourism?
Yeah, thank you. So there are multiple use cases that we've seen how people use for education. Like say, when you talk about education, people are using, like universities are now using the VR technologies to train their students, say in medical colleges, on how, to do their surgeries. And it's quite advanced from a use case point of view. From a tourism perspective also, like I was just thinking, like we have the Pico Trail, right? And imagine you can get, say, a marathon runner, super marathon runner, to run through the Pico Trail wearing the Meta Ray Bans and showcasing the Pico Trail in a very, very different light. You're really looking through the eyes of the person, and that can provide a very, very different experience for tourism, and it can be a really good use case for us to demonstrate the value of the Ray-Bans as well from a meta perspective. So these are some of the examples and the opportunities that are out there. The other opportunity is what you build for these technologies. Like say, if you're using a VR headset and you're using Horizon, and you can build anything for build an app for one of these, probably for Horizon or the Meta VR goggles, which can be used by the users of the Meta VR products.
Thank you, Mr. Senura. We have one question from the gentleman in the middle. Could we hand over the mic to the gentleman? We have exactly 2.5 minutes, so if you could make it quick.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
This is addition to what Professor Rohan Samarajiva said. Now, in Sri Lanka, there is an authorized salesperson for Meta. But I suggest that they communicate via the local language in Sinhalese, so you could reach out to more people who wanted to use the platform to promote their businesses, like the gentleman who was dealing with antiques. If you could kindly tell me how the ASP could really help to reach those less privileged and also where the language barrier is. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that question, but the ASP, the authorized sales provider program is not, has been discontinued now, right? And that has been shifted to another way of how we will be treating the market, and this program across the world was discontinued. So it's not only for Sri Lanka. Secondly, when the program was on, we did run extensive programs in partnership with the ICTA, and thank you to Professor Rohan Samaraji, who was one of the the initial promoters of this partnership with the ICTA. We were able to train the tail element, like the micro, small, and medium enterprises, in partnership with the ASP as well. And we did it for a couple of years in partnership with the ASP. But we will continue to do these types of capacity buildings in the future as well, even if the ASP is not available or has been discontinued as of now.
Thank you, Mr. Senura. We had a gentleman from the middle. Yeah, there's three actually.
Just to provide information, Professor, now Kapruko.com is undertaking this delivery in Sri Lanka. For information, please.
Okay, so could we quickly get into the questions? We have 45 seconds.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity for the question. So actually, this is something like that I have been thinking related to the social media usage of children, especially around the globe. So as we can see that TikTok was banned, or the approval for the ban was given in Australian Parliament last year for the children under 16. So that's mainly because it is giving some harmful mental health issues for the children, which could affect their future careers and aspirations. So I think Meta is also significantly contributing into that in one way or the other. So how we can prevent, or like how we can enhance our future generations and prevent those children who are the main contributors of our economy in future through Meta-like platform, or how significantly Meta has considered that into considerations.
Thank you for expressing your concern, and I see a parallel between what Professor Rohan Samaraji said with respect to the business perspective there as to what Meta can do and the limitations. And but I must say safety is part of the core elements that we look at when we build products and services for the globe. And yes, governments are entitled to take appropriate steps to ensure the safety. There is no doubt about that, and that should be the case because Meta is not in the business of creating regulation in any way, and it's the government's responsibility. Second point I want to highlight here is that if you look at Meta services, we do not permit anyone under the age of 13 to create an account. That is one of the safeguards. The other thing is we have introduced parental controls to all of our products and services. So it is up to the parents who buy them the phones or the devices, provide the telephone connection or the internet connection to where they also have a shared responsibility to have oversight over the usage of the devices or the apps the children use. From Meta's perspective, we have provided all the parental controls that is required, and I'm pretty sure like all the other apps also do provide the parental controls to enable and empower parents to have some kind of supervision over their children and how they use these services.
Thank you,
And I
Mrs.
would encourage you to visit the safety center that we have established, which has a lot of material which you can read and you can read and also you can use to ensure as parents on how to better use the parental supervision products that we've introduced into the services that we provide.
Thank you, Mrs. Senura. I'm sure everyone found this Q&A session interesting and useful. We're getting a lot of questions from the Slido, and for the questions that could not be presented, please feel free to slide in your questions through our Slido, and we will promise that we'll get back to you with answers after contacting Mr. Senura again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to
Abeywardena
and Murtaza and Dhannath and team for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you, Anushka. And thank you, Mr. Abeywardena, for this insightful look into Meta's impact on e-commerce.